Is 12/17/2024 come to order. We'll start with the pledge of allegiance.
But it's the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes. Does everybody have an opportunity to look at the minute? Entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
First and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, approval of the order of agenda. Does anybody want to take a look at notes or add anything? I would move approval of that, sure.
Second.
All right, we have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of consent agenda. Bills, employee status change, overtime, November financial report, clear liquor licenses for those three establishments. Motion, if anybody has any questions or comments on it?
I'll move approval of the consent agenda. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. County board assignment.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, we had for the public safety counseling different boards. We had one applicant and he's currently serving. I did scan in the ad that was run in the Bradford Herald. And we only have one applicant and the board approves of him being reappointed. So I need a motion to appoint Casey Inman to serve on the Public Safety Answering Board.
Madam Chair, I make that motion.
Motion.
I'll second.
Any other discussion on that? All right, first and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously, and then, water board report.
So the water board, we had two applicants. They're both currently serving. And the board would request that you reappoint Bob Dries and Tim Farrell to serve on the water board.
All right. Anybody would like to entertain a motion to approve this?
Madam Chair, I'll make that motion.
Great, Cindy. That's second.
Second.
I don't know who won, but we'll give it to Bob. If there's any other discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously, and then.
And we had two apply for the two positions that are open on the lead board, and that was David Stavatag and Kevin Bonham. And the lead board would request you the appointments to.
Perfect.
I'll move approval.
First,
Second.
by Bob. If there's not any discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously.
Thank you.
And then. Okay, remind you said we can take number 7.
Mr. Tim Nittis is here. He is an attorney for the airport.
Perfect. So we're gonna take on this long exhibits here.
Terry Hagan, Commissioners, good afternoon. My name is Tim Dittus. I'm an attorney with the Grand Forks Law Firm, and Larson. And our firm serves as legal counsel for the Grand Forks Regional Airport Authority. You may know the Airport Authority created in 1987 by the joint resolution of City of Grand Forks and the Board of County Commissioners of Grand Forks County. The purpose of the Airport Authority is to improve, operate, manage, and maintain Grand Forks International Airport. If you could give up, there is slide 1, perfect. You have before you a petition by the Airport Authority to close just under 1.5 miles north-south section lines, slightly less than half mile of east-west section line to public travel. These section lines are located in Rye Township, immediately west of the airport. Slide 2, please. As you are likely aware, the Airport Authority, as part of its master plan, has recently completed a roughly 2,500 foot westerly extension of runway 9 left, 27 right, and all that the crosswind runway. The purpose in extending the crosswind runway was twofold: to improve operational safety, which will accommodate one-way traffic flow for both large and small aircraft under all weather conditions. The second was to allow continued commercial air service as the 61-year-old primary runway, that's the north-south runway that you see there, is reconstructed over the next few construction seasons. Extending the crosswind runway for use by larger aircraft also required the Airport Authority to acquire land immediately west of the airport in order to relocate County Road 5 farther west to accommodate a larger runway protection zone, a larger obstacle-free zone, a larger runway safety area, and a larger runway object-free area adjacent to the west end of the extended crosswind runway. All of that is required by the FAA. These areas encompass an approximately 1,000-foot north-south section of the former County Road 5, and the section line that's common to sections 29 and 28. Federal regulations require that the Airport Authority have exclusive control over these areas. That includes the right to prohibit their use by unauthorized personnel. The Board of Township Supervisors of Rye Township, which under North Dakota law has jurisdiction over proceedings for changing a highway under these circumstances, granted the petition filed by more than 6 qualified electors to alter County Road 5. That's Exhibit H of the package. This order by the Township Board altered County Road 5 in 2 ways. Slide 4 if you go. First, it discontinued a portion of County Road 5 between the quarter corner, common to sections 32 and 33, and the section corner, common to sections 20, 21, 28, and 29. And we'll call that the discontinued segment. Maybe slide 5 if you would, please. Second, it relocated County Road 5 farther west by laying out a new road across land acquired by the Airport Authority. And we'll call that the new segment. The Airport Authority, at sole cost and expense, then constructed a new hard surface roadway upon the new segment. After it was completed, the Airport Authority granted Grand Forks County a road easement upon the new segment. And that's Exhibit I in your packets. Slide 6 if you would. Although the Township Board has discontinued County Road 5 on the discontinued segment, under North Dakota law, the congressional section lines underlying the discontinued segment are considered public roads open for public travel until the Board of County Commissioners resolves to close them. So notwithstanding the action of the Township Board, these section lines technically remain open for public travel until you close them. In order to close those portions of the section lines described in the petition, you must find that doing so will confer a public benefit. I submit to you that extending the crosswind runway to improve operational safety and allow continued commercial air service while the primary runway is being reconstructed constitutes public benefit. It follows then that closing portions of the section line to comply with federal mandates related to extending the crosswind runway also confers a public benefit. You must also determine that the section lines fall into one or more of the categories described in the statute that you see before you. In this case, the portions of the section line closed are no longer required due to a readily accessible alternate route of travel, specifically the newly constructed portion of County Road 5 on the road easement located upon the new segment. Further, the landowners adjacent to portions of the section lines to be closed will not be deprived of access to their property. The private owners of the land east of the section line have been granted private access easements across adjacent Airport Authority property to the west. Those easements are the full 33-foot width of the congressional section lines. This will allow the landowners to continue accessing their land at the same points they previously did, notwithstanding closure of the section lines for public travel. And you can take a look at those at exhibits L1, L2 in your packets. Additionally, the closure of the portion of the east-west section line common to north of 32 and the southeast of 29, which will then dead end at the section corner, comment to sections 29, 28, 33, and 32 will not deprive the adjacent landowner access to its property. The airport authority now owns the property on both sides of that section. And they can access that property either from the south via County Road 5 or from its adjacent property on the east. Respectfully, the airport authority seeks formal closure of the section line or portions thereof as identified in the petition before you. Maybe with slide 7. As previously stated, the federal government requires the airport authority to exclude unauthorized personnel from certain designated zones and areas of the airfield. The airport authority accomplishes that through the erection of a chain link perimeter fence. This fence, together with the gates allowing authorized personnel to access the airfield, would be placed across the closed section lines at a minimum of 2 points. Assuming that he resolves to close portions of the section line as requested in the petition, North Dakota law requires that you grant the airport authority written permission to place permanent obstructions within 33 feet on either side of the closed section lines. The airport authority respectfully requests your written permission to place those permanent obstructions upon and across the portion of the section line to be closed for public travel. Thank you. I'd be willing to answer any questions you might have. There's a lot of information.
Questions, comments, from anybody?
Is there anybody that's throwing a fit about this, or is it just kind of a procedural?
At this point, it's procedural. We've identified the two landowners to the east that would be affected by the closure of the section lines. The attorneys for both of them have not responded and they have acquiesced. They've reviewed the petition. I don't see that either of them are here today.
So you don't get the sense there's any opposition to this?
I do.
Requested. Okay, thank you.
Chair. This is a time for a public hearing, so if there were citizens present, now would be an appropriate time to open it up if there was anyone.
We just open up for public hearing. Okay. Open up for a public hearing. Anybody wants to comment? Not seeing anybody, so we'll close the public hearing.
Oh,
No. Oh. Okay. Andy, do you have any concerns with this?
No.
All right. Well. Could entertain a motion. For the resolution to close the section lines and grant permanent section. I'm sure I would so move that motion is Cindy,
a second.
second by Mr. Rusted. There's not any other discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Here, Schneider. If you're out.
Surprise.
Mhm.
Good evening, Chair Hagan and Commissioners. I'm before you to request an approval for some buyouts from our lease fleet. We have some sale of assets money in the amount of $78,033. We would at this time request that the commission grant back into our budget 77,234.73. Very specific. Michelle's always good with those numbers, so we're looking at buy out 2 vehicles with that. And I'll stand for questions.
These are leased vehicles that you just like to buy out, don't?
Yes.
I'll move approval.
Motion by Mr. Rusted,
Second.
second by Ross. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Hiring freeze.
Yes, I'll just preface this, just in case anyone was unclear where am I standing on it, but I am not gonna vote to raise taxes. So then there's only one solution. We've got to cut spending. Can disagree, fine, whatever, but gonna come down to whoever has the 3 votes. So I am going to be adamant about aggressively cutting spending everywhere I possibly can. There will be no favorites. But we cannot continue on the course we're going. Like I said, if you want to disagree, that's fine. Let the votes fall where they may. Not like I haven't lost a vote before in my life. But I'm not gonna continue down. I didn't run. If I thought things were great, I just wanted to be left alone and I would have stayed out there. I'm here because I don't like what's going on. So that's just a preface. And so and also I'd say this, it's something personal. Don't want to step on people's toes, but somebody's not gonna like what's gonna happen. Deal with it. Because things are gonna change if I get 2 more votes. Because we've got to change. Just, if you read what's going on in the budget, it's untenable. We can't continue down this road. So, I brought up the hiring freeze because a couple things. I believe in the next budget, which in the not too distant future, I'll be attempting to move up that start date on that. We need to look at the potential of consolidation and or elimination of positions. We've got to find ways to get more work done, and with less cost. And that'd be one of them. I went through the, information that was presented. And I'm gonna read a motion here in a moment. I saw that the IT job got posted after I made the discussion about a hiring freeze, so, I guess if that's get frozen, then I guess you have to pull the ad. I am unsure. I'm not a no on that position, but I'm not a yes. I'll need more data. So I'm gonna make a motion. And then if it gets a second, then we can discuss it. We'll see where it goes from there. So here's my motion. I move to implement a hiring freeze for 2025 with the following exemptions. 1, a deputy sheriff. 2, human zone. Is that the correct? I don't know. What do you guys call it?
Human service. zone.
Human service zone, because I guess that's state, but they're county, but it will exempt them. 3, any part-time position. And 4, interns. So they're exempted from the hiring freeze. If a department head believes a hire is needed, they need to appear before the commission for a waiver to the hiring freeze. So for example, in this IT position, that's gonna have to be presented as a reason why they want that position, and then we'll have a debate on that. And then any, that also would freeze, there's 11 positions tied to the new expansion of the jail.
10.
Well, it's 10 for jail and 1 for buildings and ground.
Yeah.
So those 11 positions are as of now frozen because we'll have to see what goes. We'll have time to deal with
That's
that.
if it passes.
Correct. So that's where I'm at, and that's my motion.
Second the motion.
All right. The first and a second discussion.
I have a couple questions, Commissioner Bierke. You said that, I understand law enforcement because, you know, people should have background training to be a sheriff's deputy or a police officer. But what if somebody leaves the attorney's office and there's another attorney hanging around within the county that wants a job? What if somebody doesn't have the correct classification?
Well, if a position is vacated and that department head believes that that position must be filled, then they come before the commission to make their case.
So are you making an assumption then that the county managers aren't doing their job and they're letting people work just because?
I'm saying as an elected official who was hired to change, I'm changing. Trust but verify, Lionel Ray. So we're gonna verify. I'm not doing, I don't know how many times I can say this. Business as usual is over in my world. If I don't get the votes, then it'll go on business as usual, but I hope you people look at your budget. The county's in trouble. And I'm not going back to taxpayers and tell them they're the solution. Time for the government to tighten its belt.
Grand Parks County has a $34 million budget. The city of Grand Parks has a $199 million.
And they overspend too, so.
Well,
I
and
agree
that's
with you.
not including the school district, nor is it including, parks and.
And they overspend too, so I mean, I'm consistent.
I don't see any harm in having new positions or filled positions come in front of the board. If there's something that's an emergency, like for instance, Commissioner Peach brought up, if an attorney for the State's Department or State's Attorney's Office were to quit or be fired or whatever, and there was an outstanding candidate, we have those special commission meetings via Zoom all the time. Sometimes they're 2 or 3 or 4 minutes. It's a one quick vote thing. I don't see a problem with it.
Well, I'll respond to that. It's an attorney. We meet every 2 weeks. Tell you, you just can't, you have to put the application out, take applications. If it was just, it's not gonna happen. This is not gonna be a problem. We have plenty of time to do this. I'm trying to get the commission and including the department heads to, okay, we need to take a look. Can we do things better? Because if we're saying we're perfect, then I guess we're the best county in the world. And it's not a comment on anyone personally or their ability to work. It's just, I want to try and do things different. Otherwise, like I said, I want to rent.
Okay, previous board, set the 2025 budget, to include, the sheriff's deputy, the IT, maintenance, and youth assessment center and the correctional. Now, we cannot open up that new correctional center without that staff. And that was approved by a previous board. Now, I understand what you're saying, but I have a problem with it because we will have this new facility and we cut it back to July 1 to save some money to start these guys. And I think it would be irresponsible for us to turn our back on that new facility because of what you want to do. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, we have an obligation to take care of that correctional center and the youth assessment center. So if you give the sheriff a man, then why not the correctional center?
Well, the sheriff's started.
I understand. I was there for 40 years, Terry. I know how the sheriff's department works.
So
Okay, so don't tell me how it goes.
Okay, do you want me to answer or is it a rhetorical question?
Go ahead, shoot.
Okay. Sure, appropriate, shoot. The sheriff has already offered the job and that person's already accepted. I'm not gonna go back on that now. He's ready to start, I don't know, 1st or 2nd of January, whatever. The jail is months away from opening. We're not hiring him tomorrow. We need to, in my world, we gotta go through what's going on with that jail and what we're spending. Frankly, if we're gonna open up a new wing of a jail to lose even more money, I wanna have that discussion, because most businesses don't expand to lose even more money. I think we have to look at what's going on with the state and the fact that they are out of room and how we can leverage that to our advantage if we have this jail. Potentially, maybe we can get the state to staff it for 2 or 3 years while they build their new pen. And then we charge them a lease. They pay all the costs and we charge them a lease and we actually do make money. So a hiring freeze doesn't mean no one's going to get hired and the world's going to fall apart. It's just means we're adding additional scrutiny. And they have the ability to come before the department has come before the commission and ask for that. So, and another thing, I heard for 10 years, it's in the budget, we have to do it. You don't have to do it. It's just budgeted. If you budget $5,000 for travel and you can get it for $3,000, you don't have to upgrade your hotel and go out to better restaurants to get it up to $5,000. You don't have to spend $5,000. You can't spend $3,000. So just because it's budgeted doesn't mean it has to be done that way. And so, because it's in the budget, that's not an acceptable answer to me. I've gone down that road before.
Chair Hagan, Commissioner, some of the interest of the board. I just thought I'd come up and clarify, potentially why Commissioner Bierke included us in being excluded. At the conclusion of the last meeting, when Commissioner Bierke spoke about pushing a hiring freeze at the next meeting, I approached him after the meeting and explained to him that the sheriff's office advertised for their open deputy position, additional position in October. So we advertised in October, we held interviews and had a conditional job offer to a deputy, a potential deputy that accepted. We offered him a formal offer. I want to say it was the middle or end of November, which he accepted to start January 1. The sheriff's office hiring process isn't just a 1 day or 1 week deal. Extensive background checks, obviously interviews, advertising. So it's a lengthy process. We already engaged in it. I informed him that we had already offered the job to an individual who had accepted it. And that's, I believe, how he maybe came to that conclusion is he'd have a hard time pulling a job away from something that's already been advertised, interviewed for, and offered.
I already knew that, so.
So Chair Hagan and Commissioner Bierke, I just have one question for clarification. Because when you were going through the list, the one section that wasn't addressed was the 3 Grand Forks correctional officers that they were in the hiring process. And where it says budgeted replacements, the 3 open full-time positions at the correctional center. I didn't know, you talked about the 10
Okay,
for the new jail.
We just did 2 tonight. Is that
So
Is that 3 besides?
these are,
We've hired jailers the last 2 meetings. Is there 3 more still?
so these are 3 that would start on January 2nd.
Okay,
And they would be replacements, not new staff.
okay, but that's in addition to the ones we've already done the last 2 meetings.
Right.
Under their consent agenda, we've hired jailers,
They would be listed on that consent
Okay,
agenda
but I
at
mean,
today's meeting.
okay, so, but that's 3 in addition to the ones we've already done. So there's 3 more in the pipeline.
So these are 3 that you should have had status sheets for in today's consent agenda. So I didn't know.
Oh, those are hired then. We already voted on
Okay.
that.
I just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
and
Okay.
make sure.
Yeah, no, but fine, yeah.
Okay.
No, that's done. They're hired.
So just for clarification, you're not saying nobody's gonna get hired. We can still hire 10 correctional officers. It just needs to come before the board to have more.
Correct. All I'm asking is for more scrutiny, more discussion. With the intent, except we'll find out where the votes are, but it's very simple. This county's either gonna cut spending or you're gonna have a pretty significant tax increase. That's gonna be your 2 choices. And there's no dilly-dallying. Trying to pretend it's not gonna happen. It's very simple. Cuts, or you're gonna hammer them with tax increase. I am not doing tax increase. So therefore, I am going to do cuts.
Any other discussion? No. All right, we have a first and a second. I think we will roll call vote. Carrie?
I,
No,
No. Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. So motion is approved 3-2. Carrie, do you have number 10 as well?
yes, this has to do with the, working from home policy. First of all, I was gonna say, I did not realize we had so many people working from home under this policy. And so for the majority of them, I'm gonna have to take a pause and do some more analysis. And I guess I'll have to meet with HR on this too, because I'm not quite sure the metrics that are being used to evaluate the performance that we're getting everything we want from that. So for the majority of the positions, I'm not gonna discuss today. It's gonna take more work. However, I do believe the leadership positions should be at the county building. And so I went through, there's the remote workers and then the hybrid workers. Now, once again, just in case I have to get too minutia than I should have to, but I'm not talking about storm days. I'm not talking about if they're sick. I'm not talking about if they broke a foot, and they're gonna be at home for a little while, and they're gonna do that. We're not talking about that. Okay, that's common sense. It's a blizzard, and you can't come to work, but you can work from home, then work from home. Got it. I'm talking about where people are regularly not in the office. I believe the leadership positions of the county should be in the office, once again, so I'm clear. They have a meeting somewhere, then obviously they're not the office when they're at that meeting, but they're working at wherever that meeting's being held. Not talking about that either. But I believe leadership positions should be in the county office building full time. So the motion is the following. I move the following positions return to the county office building full time effective 12/23/24, which is next Monday. Planning and zoning director, administration, 2 positions, HR, 2 positions, emergency manager. All future remote and hybrid requests must come before the commission for approval. And the purpose of that is, that's the end of the motion. Purpose of that is, I think we need to make sure we study that. I don't know if you're following what's going on at the federal government, just so you know, pre-COVID, 97% of all federal employees worked at their office. Today, 6% of federal employees are working from their office. If you take out security guards and janitors, 1% of the federal workforce is working 40 hours a week at the office. I think you need to be where you work. Personal opinion. And you need to be at base there so people can deal with you at that location. So that's my motion. Second, up for discussion. Or if I get a second, would be up for discussion.
I think I've made my feelings on this topic crystal clear in a previous meeting. So with that, I second the motion.
All right, we got a first and a second discussion.
I have a question. So Commissioner Bierke, is this the lack of trust of employees, or you just want them to be at a desk?
I believe study after study after study, yes, again, after study, shows that productivity is better at the place of business as opposed to home. I also believe leadership should be at the county office, county building. I don't know how you can supervise people if you're not there. And I think you're also much more accessible to the public if you're at the office building as opposed to your house. Does that answer the question?
You're not saying that this is like it's just going away. We're just gonna reevaluate those employees that work.
Well, I think down the road, we need to have a discussion, because frankly, why don't we just let everybody work from home and sell the building? If that's where we want to go.
The city of Grand Forks has no employees working from home.
Well,
None.
I'm just saying that, it's clear I'm not a fan of that, but I'm just saying. Who gets to pick why not have everybody work from home? And like I said, and we'll lease the whole building now. I think people need to be at work.
When it comes to the human service zone, they don't have the space.
Well, that's why I didn't get into all that, because after some research, I found out they have some different rules, and they're the state, but they're county. And so that's why I didn't go into the positions that were non-management, because we're gonna have to do some more research on that. I don't, despite what people might think, I don't fly up at the handle. I'm pretty detailed what I get into, so I've got to look more into that. I don't know what the answer to that's gonna be. So that's why I only dealt with those positions.
Any other discussion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
it's Tom. If I could just say one thing, I see that I'm on this list. I don't know why I'm on this list, but I'd like to clarify I don't work from home. Some days if my disease acts up, I have the ability to, but Commissioner Bierke, to your point, I am not a remote worker, and I just want to clarify that because I'm on this list.
Well, you were listed under, unless I'm reading it wrong, under a hybrid. And so I just wanted to be clear Once again, I'm not talking about something happened, you have to go home. I'm talking routine. And so if it's on there and it shouldn't be, then it should be, but I'm just saying it's under hybrid workers, administrator. So I just want to make it clear.
All right. Well, we have a first and a second. If there's no other discussion, I think I'll take a roll call vote again. Do we think?
Shocking, I'm voting yes.
No. Bob,
Yes. Yes.
and I'm also a yes. Motion passed, 1 nay to 30. Debbie, let's see. We were up.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, we're back to our ARPA allocation that we have to do by the end of the year. Or we have to send the money back, and it's $185,094, I believe. It's the right screen. $185,094 is the amount that we need to allocate, or you need to allocate for the end of the year. I did hear from Bill regarding possible use of the funds for the parking ramp. He has an idea of how it could be used, and Ms. Wamsit is in agreement of using the funds that way for the parking. You allocate it by the end of the year. We have 2 years to do it, so you don't have to do it by the end of the year.
So the entire amount would go to parking.
Don't you want to talk about the idea we have?
I sure can. Commissioner, Chair Hagan, Commissioners, thank you. To offer a little reset and for Mr. Bierke a little more update on this. We have a change order that we have rejected in the sum of $156,000 for necessary electrical work that was not in the scope of this project that was identified as this project has gone on. Quite frankly, that the amount of work in that change order that was brought forth for $156,000 was a ridiculously high amount, even to our retained engineer that's managing the project for us. He feels that there's roughly $75,000 of work there. We have identified more work in addition, which I had our quasi proxy in-house electrician doing some repair work just to keep our third floor lighting functional out there. Today, we spent roughly $800 on hardware to get our third floor lighting working again, where we have some corroded out conduit and shorted out wires. We've done a temporary repair, so we still have that lighting in there. That needs a permanent fix. In addition to what our speculative $75,000 would be. Speculatively, that would be another $10,000 in money. This retained work then by the engineer is outside of the scope that was originally drawn out in the 3.1 million in ARPA money that we're already spending on the ramp. So he would have additional fees too, not to exceed $10,000 or 10% of the work being done. There's some other electrical work as well that wasn't deemed as imminently necessary on this project that we could easily see get done while all this work is being done, rather than going into more repair work in a few years again on electrical. In addition to that, to get to that 185, Evelyn has been working on camera upgrades for the county throughout all of the facilities. in the ramp, that's one that she has in the next 2 to 3 years planned. The current cameras that are in there, as well as the additional that camera engineers are recommending for eliminating some of our blind spots that we have, and then having better resolution, not only to identify people when things happen out there, but also be able to read a license plate would be awful nice with new resolution on cameras. We're looking at approximately $40,000 for that. We're in those camera upgrades. We could incorporate that under the umbrella of the project, which Ms. Wamsit has directed me that because this is an open project, Century Code laws require us to keep it within that project, keep it within that management. And that 185,000 piece would be consumed with Mr. Clevin and I writing that scope of work for a public bid for advertisement for it to go out if you would approve that money to be spent that way and allocate that money that way.
Does anybody have any comments or discussion where we'd like to use the funds, other than what Bill talked about?
Bill, is this your recommendation? It's a good way to spend that ARPA money on a worthy project, in my opinion, yes.
So you want even a more high definition video of me trying to struggle my way around Kimberly's.
I do have a copy of that saved.
Yeah.
Watching it in person was pretty great too.
Yeah.
I'll move approval of those funds going towards the ramp, and however it needs to be worded, I guess.
If we could have that dollar amount approved towards that, I can work with Mr. Clevin on writing a scope for public bid advertisement to where we would not exceed with addition to that.
Very good. We have a motion. Second by Mr. Bierke. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion is approved. Yeah.
Thank you.
County administrators. That's pretty serious. Sorry, did I make something? Yes.
We're on 11B.
Oh, I skipped off 3 things. Sorry, Gracie, off the way. All right.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, you have your 2024 budget adjustments that I need a motion that we can adjust the budgets for these amounts here. Every one of these have offsetting revenue. County road and bridge, they have revenue. FEMA 2022 and 23 with the money from the federal government, and then we spend the money. Historical Society, the senior citizens, their agency funds. We get the money, we bill them property taxes, we receive the money, we send the money out to those agencies. They are not overspending. We have received the revenue first. COVID, American Rescue Plan, ARPA dollars and COVID funds that we spent, did not have a budget, but we had the funds to do so. Economic development, it's an agency fund. We levy the funds come in, we send the funds out. The jail and the dome, we had the bond, and we have the Bank of North Dakota loans on. So funds are there. Garrison, water, the library, Red River Joint, ambulance, Red Regional Airport Authority, and the soil conservation are all agency funds. So I need a motion to approve these amendments that are before you.
You have a motion? I would move approval. Motion is Cindy,
Second.
second by Mr. Ross. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. Great.
Okay, the next one is I need a motion to authorize the commissioner to approve any bills that come in before the end of the year that have to get paid before your next commission meeting.
Moved.
Second.
So do you, sorry, do you need a specific person?
Yeah,
right?
who-
Correct.
yes.
I'm motion.
So
Motion.
who's gonna
Who
do
would
it?
you like to?
Oh, one of us,
Yes.
Commissioner Chair, obviously.
Fair. Motion for Kimberly Hagan to sign any bills
Sure.
until the end of the year.
Boy, that makes me want to take a second. Guess my second, but yeah, I'll second still.
All right,
You know, first and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Right, motion.
And then the nonprofit corporation annual report that I have to complete each year, and that's for the building authority. The building authority will use for the correctional center bond, which will be paid off next year in 2025. So until then, we have a building authority and we have to report this to the Secretary of State. Our for the building authority. So it's a report they do every single year and have since we've had a building authority in place.
Thank you. Mr. Cuthbert. Do I have a second?
Okay.
Second by Mr. Ross. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Do you think now it is your turn? Chair Hagan, members of the commission, this is a follow-up from the conversation surrounding county legislative priorities during the last meeting as directed to formulate some language regarding the Grand Forks County Human Service Zone and unfunded mandates. And so after speaking with State's Attorney Wamstead, drafted the language, just one sentence. Grand Forks County advocate for the state of North Dakota to either fiscally support or remove unfunded mandates placed upon counties from human service zone. I did speak with Tammy Knutson, and she doesn't have any opinions on this. She feels comfortable without having first talked to Jason Coffey, who is the accounting manager across the state for all human service zones. And I think that regardless of what decision you all make today on if you want to move forward with that language or you want to pause or not, or if you don't like it, would like to have Mr. Coffey and then Kristen Hadsbargen, who's the North Dakota Director of Zone Operations, speak to the commission or just whoever is interested to explain the relationship, because there have been questions about the relationship between the county and the state and human service zones, just for clarification at an upcoming meeting to understand better where the duties of the county and the duties of the state begin and end in terms of funding and staffing, etc. And so those are kind of two different pieces there, but there's the wording for this and how, and I'll leave it to you to discuss how you feel about it, but then also if you would like to have them come and talk to the commission about how they operate on both the state and the regional local zone level.
My personal opinion is I'd like to have them come and speak with us regardless of what decision we make, just for all five of, and well, everyone in the room that might want to be interested to understand that relationship, because I hope I'm not the only one of the five of us that doesn't really know.
Madam Chair, member of the commission, we do receive $405,000 in indirect cost support from the state for the human service zone. Did that cover our costs? Probably not. And it's based on the cost allocation study that's done, and it does not increase. The law does not. It's been the same for a couple of years.
405,000 honestly. In speaking with Mrs. Knutson as well, she had made very clear that zone employee salary and benefits do come from the state. And then she said that indirect costs, to her understanding, were reimbursed at 25%. And I don't know if that's related.
And it's 25% of the cost allocation study.
Okay.
And it does not increase. And so it's based on the 2021 cost, that 25%.
So it's not attached to CPI or anything at all. It's
It
just
does not,
Mr. Ricky.
Could we get an analysis from our staff, wherever that might be, as to what we believe those costs are as compared to the 405 number? Okay. I think we need to have that number.
Do you want to have that number before approving?
I'm pretty confident state's gonna be short, so I'd be willing to go with it, but if we want to wait, that I can go either way.
Do we need a motion to approve these?
So. Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Is there anything in the, our legislative, priorities about the prison being full. And we have to hold prisoners here. Because Cass County Commission yesterday or today that's gonna be one of their legislative issues that they're sending to the legislature. Hey, expand your pen, you know, let's get these people housed or whatever we have to do, or come up with some kind of device or issue where counseling or whatever needs to take place needs to be done, because otherwise, with their priority system, we're gonna be holding people that are supposed to be at the pen here for long duration, so.
Yeah, nothing at the time, but we can certainly add it. So that's what today is.
I don't know what the rest of the commission feels about that, but Cass County, that's their number one priority.
Just,
They got the same issue down there we've got here.
Because today's an amendment, so we can certainly continue amending and adding if that's the direction of the commission and
How's the
explore
rest
the
of the
language.
commission feel?
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty plain as the, nose on our faces that the state is gonna be looking to Grand Forks. No question about that, because we're about to pop open a bunch of bedrooms or beds for them, so.
With Cass, is the same thing. They just expand their jail.
Yeah,
So,
but not enough. I mean, they're short almost 400 prisoners right now. Spots for them, and it's gonna cost them an arm and a leg to put them in Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota. They wanna keep them in North Dakota, so I mean, I don't know if I wanna. I'd have to let the hamster run a little longer before I kick on that hornet's nest, but it kind of, I'll concede. I'm not sure yet right now.
We can decide that at the next meeting, like the commission wants to.
That'd be my preference personally, but I mean,
I'm fine with waiting on that.
I could go one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm kind of indifferent about the two.
I'm just throwing it out.
No, you're right. I
It's,
mean,
it's a statewide issue,
yeah.
so.
Right.
These conversations are being had. I mean, they need to put them someplace, and obviously, Cass, if
The most populous areas are the ones that carry the most voice. You want to say that?
yeah, and so let's, maybe 2 weeks to think on it. It would be such a bad idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be till January 30th, I'm not sure.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 would be fine, because it's still before the session. I don't know, is that too close to the session?
At least the day the session begins.
It's the second.
The bills are introduced throughout the session.
they're not gonna decide that thing. If you wanna wait.
I don't know what you think, but
I think that we can wait and think about it.
All right, so we'll wait and think about it. We'll put it on the agenda for next January 7th.
Just, I also think we should consider trying to come up with a proposal for the state. We'll take them, you're gonna pay handsomely,
So
and we can send them back to where they come from when they get released.
concur.
So Andy, right now, if somebody gets sentenced by the court to the penitentiary, but they can't get to the penitentiary, does the penitentiary pay Grand Forks County?
That'd be a,
Brent's on, I know.
yeah, that'd be a question for Mr. Burkholder, but if they go into prioritization plan, yes, if they're not taking individuals that are ready to go to the pen, then they will pay the county, but it's not, they don't get sentenced and then go to the pen the next day.
No.
We have to receive their intake packet. It goes to our office. We have to send it to people in Bismarck. They have to review it and say, yes, we'll take them. So it's not like a 1 or 2 day flip. Like it could be a couple weeks, 3 weeks. It
But
takes.
irregardless, if the pen says we can't take them, we want you to hold them, they're paying, right?
They have to go into what's called their prioritization
Yep.
plan prior to paying us.
And once they're in that, then they're paying Grand Forks County.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're gonna discuss this again and. Right? Right, so good. Thank you.
Did we get the motion for the human service?
It depends on if you want to. I thought we were discussing that at the next meeting with somebody coming.
Oh, you wanna have the numbers before we do that? Okay,
unless
that's,
the wishes were different than.
I'll wait for the numbers.
I think that's wise.
Yeah.
At least that
Yeah.
gotta put us down. If we say,
Right.
we don't think you're paying all the bills.
Yeah.
But we don't have any proof to that, it'd be nice to at least have our ducks in a row.
Yep.
Right. Okay, thank you, Stacy. This one's dead.
Nothing to do.
Great. Committee reports.
Well, after an exhilarating 3 hour and 45 minute fair board meeting, as of last Thursday, this is where we're at. The fair board on Wednesday night sent a proposal out to River City Speedway for a 1 year extension of the lease. I met with the River City Speedway people on Thursday and they agreed to it. Now, so hopefully we're all set. Go ahead.
Is that what they were paying?
So it's gonna
Or
go
is
up.
this at a new fee?
It's gonna go up. It's gonna go,
25 to 30, I believe.
well, yeah, it's 25, it's 15 to 20%
Well, I
increase.
know it's been a long time. They've been
Yeah.
paying 25.
Yeah,
It's went up to 30.
it's gonna go to 30.
Okay.
And well, from the fair board on Wednesday night, from what I got on Thursday, they seem to agree. So hopefully we'll sign that at the January 8th meeting. And then both sides agreed the current long-term lease is old, outdated, doesn't work, doesn't have a bunch of stuff in it that should, et cetera, et cetera. So they both agree to that. So I want to start with them, between the two sides, beginning immediately on writing a new long-term lease. And with the goal of getting that done early summer, so it doesn't drag on, be done with it. And then to make sure everything is included of what both sides, because both sides are doing things that aren't even in the lease. And it's unclear what's going on. And so we need to get all that written down. So both sides, River City Speedways is doing this, and this, what they maintain, what they're paying, additional things that they're letting the fair board do to generate more revenue for them, et cetera, and vice versa. So the goal is to have that lease done early into the race season, so we can get that done. So that's where we're at. So unless something's changed, as of last Thursday, they both verbally agreed to it. So it would be a 1 year extension with an increase 30 up to 30 grand. And they're both sides are going to commit one person to a fundraising committee. And both sides are going to work together to go out, and attempt to raise funds for the grandstands. And then the long-term lease will come in after that. So that was 3 hours and 45 minutes. So that's where we're at. That's all. Oh, I guess I can do my next week thing then now then, right? I should do that. So, I'm assuming this is IT, but whoever gets it. I'd like to see two things, reports back for the next meeting. Number one, can we get the packet information that we get? Can that be on the city website? So they click on agenda and the whole packet comes up and the people can look through that on the Friday before the Tuesday meeting. Because we post the agenda, but we don't post the supporting documents. And don't ask me how to do that. So can we do that? And if we can't, why can't we? And how fast can we get it on there? And number two, on the same line, this meeting is not broadcast live, is what I've heard. So what do we have to do to get it wherever we have to on the World Wide Web of information, to get it on any way, shape, or form, so somebody could watch this meeting live? What has to be done? And once again, I have no idea, but I'm sure IT does, or whatever it does, whatever we're gonna do to do that, come back in 3 weeks, tell us we can do it now, or we can't do it, and this is why we can't do it, and this is how we have to fix the problem.
I agree.
That's where I am.
Wholeheartedly with that. I feel like having to request a Zoom link from somebody that has a Zoom link, just to be able to tune into the meeting is in 2024 is kind of outlandish. I would think probably one of the simplest ways would be maybe a Facebook Live or something, at least to start
He
with.
does like a YouTube or something, YouTube live stream.
Yeah, I mean, however we do it, I think I couldn't agree more with that sentiment that these meetings should be able to be viewed live, or by anybody that should want to watch them.
That's it. I'm limiting myself.
The mayor just texted me, said reach out to the city, we do both, so maybe somebody from the county can reach out to the city. And figure out how they do it, and since they're already doing it, maybe we can copy what they're doing.
I have nothing to report.
Okay. The jail, moving on. I mean, it's going good. I didn't make the meeting today, but Gracie did. Did anything come up today with the construction out at the jail and youth assessment center? Robin, you were there also? Okay. All right. Everything's on time. Everything's going smooth. Okay. Also had a courthouse security meeting today at 1 o'clock over at the courthouse where we talked about security issues at the courthouse. Andy was there. Haley Wampstead was there. And seems like everything's going okay with them. They talked about any people that were causing any issues or anything, but it didn't seem like there was a whole lot, so. Think Andy's got a plan for when they move out to the west end of town. How are that call's gonna be answered at the courthouse if anything goes haywire. So he's got a plan. And and he's probably gonna get space so we can have additional deputies on site, so. But anyway, it's about all I got.
On the official committee business, I do have one request of this board. If you'll all remember, we did the rezoning of the two families that, the names are escaping me, Dahl and one other. Maybe you remember Lane. Wilkinson, thank you very much. The Wilkinson and Dahl families, we did the rezoning of that. But they also had to incur a $200 fee as part of this process that they had to go through, in my opinion, completely unjustly. So I guess I would like to make a motion, if it's appropriate, Madam Chair, that we vote to just refund the $200 fee to both of those families a piece. 200 a piece is my understanding, because I don't believe in it was just in the first place. And so I think this is, in my opinion, just doing what's correct and right. They shouldn't have to pay money to have to fight for something that was done wrong to them in the first place. So
I'll second. There was a motion, right?
that was a motion.
I could second.
Yeah.
Motion by Mr. Rusto, second by Mr. Beardy. Is there any other discussion? In front of the dollar? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed unanimously.
Where do we get the money?
Madam Chair, member of the commission, did the money not go into the planning and zoning budget? And that's where it would come from, the same.
Thanks to the board, we did the right thing.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
The only thing that I had was the legislative priorities. I presented those to the other taxing entities last Thursday. Yeah, last Thursday, and then Mark and I on Saturday met with the rest of the legislators and representatives to discuss the priorities that we have, and again, the other taxing entities that they have their priorities for this session. But other than that, nothing else to report.
Kimberly may have saved my life that day, by the way.
I also may have saved Mark's life more than once in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Make a note of that.
There's a picture today.
All right, what do we have any unfinished business? We've got quite a few minutes.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, you have an amendment to lease agreement with Northeast to lease 80 spots. This was scanned in, and today they changed the date from effective December 1st to December 18th. I did give you a hard copy on the desk. But there is just, if you look at it this weekend, it said December 1st. For now, it says December 18th.
We just need a motion to amend the lease agreement.
Yeah.
I just have a question. So are they getting, is that 80 they didn't get before? This is 80, this is new revenue.
Right.
Okay, right, thank you.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Ross, second by Ms. Peach. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
I
Motion passes. Commission's portfolio. You see the portfolio assignments that we had stand in. Did everybody had time to review those? I think I had discussions with everybody on what Mark doesn't have to be on the appeal board, so that's a win. Fair board sounds like it's getting fired up with Mr. Buki.
So that's a record meeting there.
They were good.
It
All right.
is, 'cause I used to sit on, and give the mark, he gave it to you.
The hot potato. All right. Do you want to have a motion to approve these?
So,
Second. Second by Mr. Buki. If there's any other discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously to approve the portfolio assignments.
Can I amend that motion to have somebody immediately contact the MPO to let them know to call Terry, not me? Like,
We'll put it on a forward.
I ended business today, it is already passed.
Right.
Madam Chair, members of the commission, these are our 2025 commission meeting dates. It's the first and third Tuesday of every month. The dates are listed there and I take a motion to approve them.
Motion by Mr. Rusted,
Second.
second by Mrs. Peach. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion.
And the next one is a date for the county commission or the board of equalization. It has to be first 7 or 10 days. Within the first 10 days. And so it would be, and our June 3rd, 2025 at 4 p.m.
So
Motion by Mr. Justin,
Second.
second by Ross. All those in favor, please say aye.
I,
Motion passed unanimously.
And the last item is capital improvement transfer request. So, the IT had $20,000 budgeted in the 2024 capital improvements that they will not be able to finish in 2024, and they would like it to move to 2020. So that would be my request.
how much is that?
20,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Moved.
Moved by Mr. Buki,
Second.
second by Mr. Did you have some reason to add? No, okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
I,
Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Any correspondence? I don't think I got any. No. All right, who's the new?
move adjournment.
There's a second.
Second.
Say what else did you have?
All right, all those in favor?
I.
Aye. Motion passed.